Hello, Willowbrook family. Today's deep dive is into John chapter 16, verses 16 through 33. Many years ago, I was eating at a very nice restaurant. The mood was cheerful and relaxed, and the food was really good. All in all, it appeared that it would be an enjoyable evening. But after a while, a large group entered. Oh no, I thought. This big group would ruin the laid-back mood of the place, and I was afraid that they would be really loud and obnoxious. But they weren't too bad, and after just a few minutes, I didn't pay attention to them, and I went back to eating my delicious steak. Well, probably about 15 minutes later, all of a sudden, this group started shouting and cursing at each other, and the whole restaurant went quiet and stared in their direction. Then some of the members of the big group stood up and started pushing and shoving each other, and it got completely out of hand. Finally, the managers and the servers had to intervene, and they escorted the entire group right out the door. And the nice, cheerful, relaxed mood of the place was gone. People talked in hushed tones, and some even quickly finished their meals and left. That group left a heaviness, a thickness, and uncertainty in the air, and it's not a feeling I enjoyed. In these last several chapters of John, Jesus and the disciples have been having a meal in the upper room. In fact, it would be their last supper together. Jesus tells the group that Judas would betray him, and Judas leaves in a huff, and I'm not sure the disciples understood what was going on. And then Jesus spends quite a bit of time teaching them about many things. In fact, you have been studying these things for the last few weeks in these daily devos. The reason Jesus is spending so much time with this is because this is the last quality time he will have with the disciples before his death on the cross. Now, in today's section, Jesus prepares them for his arrest, torture, and death, and also his resurrection. However, this was difficult for the disciples to understand. And you can imagine how maybe heavy or thick or uncertain the air was in the room, just like in that restaurant. The disciples were uneasy and afraid. Now, knowing this, Jesus clears the air and offers them hope. In fact, he does it in three ways. First, Jesus tells them that they need to be prepared for pain, but that joy will follow. And it's the type of joy that cannot be taken away from them. He gives the example of a mother in labor. At first, she experiences intense pain, but then when the beautiful baby arrives, she is overcome with joy. Second, Jesus assures the disciples that they will not lose access to him, even though he won't be physically visible. Up until now, the disciples had to, if they had a question or worry, they'd just walk right up to Jesus and ask him. But in the future, they will have a tool, and it will be called prayer. And in fact, they will be able to pray in the name of Jesus. You have to understand that this is a new concept for the disciples. Up until now, they have never prayed in the name of Jesus. Now, we do that all the time, but the disciples had never done it. Jesus would be their intercessor, and through him, they would be able to talk directly to God the Father. They could bring the same questions and worries to him. And third, Jesus offers them peace. He reminds them that they won't find peace in the world because the world works against them, and it always will. But Jesus has overcome the world. So, when the air around you is heavy and thick and uncertain, and you feel surrounded by the world and overwhelmed by worry, fear, and temptation, remember that God surrounds everything, including you, and he's got you, even in your darkest time. Have a great day in the Lord, Willowbrook.